Hey YouTube, squid fisher 99 coming to you from the beach in Pacific Grove, California. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about commercial fishing, what got me into it. I was inspired for this by watching Matches 860 talk about trains. Fishing for me started when I was very young. Sport fishing, my dad used to take us when we were 4 or 5 years old down to the local pier here in Monterey, and we would catch just small stuff, little sand dabs and bullheads and little fish like that, anchovies, small fish like that. And as we got older, we of course would go out in boats and catch bigger fish. Getting into commercial fishing when I was really young in 1976 at this spot right here. I'll show you really quick. Right here, straight down here on the rocks. A very large fishing boat. Well, it was about 45 to 50 feet. It's called the Santa Rosalia. It ran aground, and it was in March of 1976. And the details were, I guess they were going to do some gill netting down the coast, and they put the boat on autopilot. And autopilots are like children. When you watch them, they're fine. They behave. They do what you want them to do. The second you turn your back, boy, they do a corkscrew and screw up as best they can. I know, I've had several of them in my boats. Getting back to the story, they put the boat on autopilot and it all went to work on the net or whatever. I think the skipper actually was drinking wine in the cabin for the run down the coast. It was a cold, stormy night. Of course, the autopilot did a corkscrew and the boat ended up on the rocks. Like I said, it was a stormy night. I remember that night. It was howling windy. One of the guys either jumped off or got washed overboard, and he drowned. And everybody else was rescued. But I remember the next morning, it was in the paper, because the Herald photographer, our local newspaper, had gone down and taken pictures at 3 in the morning when it happened. You could see the helicopter overhead and the silhouette of the boat getting pounded by the surf. Well, we went that day and we parked over here and went down and looked at the boat, and I was a little kid, and when a boat that size in the water is huge. Now when you see it out of the water, it's enormous. So all my friends and I, we were impressed. We thought this was enormous and huge and great. So we crawled out there and looked around and checked the boat out, touched it. Yeah. So to make a long story short, the boat was up there for about a month. It lasted a long time. But then we had a 2-day long storm that was really big. Seas were running to 30 feet, so it was enormous. The tides were extra high. The boat had broken up during that storm, and I remember the cabin was washed. The whole boat was all over the rocks, but it was mashed into little pieces. But the cabin remained whole. And so when the storm was over, we went back to the beach to see how the boat was, and it was not there. It was smashed. So the cabin was up on the beach, and we, of course, had to go crawl over the cabin and go inside and check it out. So that's my memories of that. But I was impressed with that boat, how big it was, and I always liked that. So after that, we'd be at the wharf. I'd always be over looking at the commercial boats, checking them out. Fast forward 20 years, and some of my friends from high school became commercial fishermen, and they introduced me to some of the big skippers of these big fishing boats. I got pretty good friends with them, and they said, "Hey, why don't you try fishing?" And so I did. So now I fish squid, sardines, anchovies. What else do I do? Salmon. I've had my own commercial salmon boats. I've done crab fishing here, Dungeness crab. They also fish prawns and what they call rockfish. I haven't done any of that. They do some trawling. I haven't done that either. To me, trawling is kind of ruinous to the bottom of the ocean, so I generally don't do it. So that's what kind of got me into fishing. And I won't make a really long story short. I can sit here, I can remember that boat sitting there getting pounded by the surf. It rocking back and forth as each time the waves hit it. I remember the owners over here with a shotgun in the evening time. He'd show up with his shotgun and keep people away because someone, or after it ran aground, got on board, according to the newspaper article, and they stole all kinds of stuff. The stove, engine starter, engine panel gauges, radio antennas, portholes, you name it, wasn't bolted down, they were stealing it. So he came over here with a shotgun and would stay here all night and wait and watch. I remember that. His name was Vittorio Lombardo. His son and I actually became very good friends. We went to school together. His daughter and his son and I were all on the same grade. We're still good friends. His son now skippers a very big, I think it's an 80-foot commercial fishing boat for squid and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So that's that. Thought I'd let you guys know why I'm called a squid fisher, because I fish squid. The housekeeping today. Housekeeping. This is the pipe. These are these old, like a Venturi, the pipe. I guess there's another name for these. These were made in the 60s and 70s. They're made of some space-age material. I know the lining in them was the same stuff that they used to make the tiles in the space shuttle. And they're like a plastic bowl around that, like kind of really heat-resistant plastic. You can put these in the dishwasher when you're done with them. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never done it, but I just take them apart when it's totally cool and ready to go. I take it apart and I'll just take it to the sink and scrub it out. Really easy to clean. You don't need, this does not get cake buildup in it. You never want to do that. So I just take it and wash it really good. And I'll take the pipe sweetener and run it through it just to make it nice and tasty. I'm probably out now. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so that's the pipe, and that's my story about squid fishing, and I'm sticking with it. Yeah, so I'm parked out here at the beach as always. This is a nice beach to go to. Today there aren't a lot of people. Usually it's kind of crowded, but today there aren't a lot of people. Sometimes I come over here and sport fish, just cast out a line, see what I can get. You get rockfish, you get eels, things like that. Do what's called poke poling. You take a long bamboo pole with a piece of coat hanger wire attached to it, and you put a little hook on the end of a small line and put a piece of squid on that and stuff it in the little holes under the rocks, and come out with all kinds of neat stuff. Rockfish and lingcod and cabezone. Cabezone. Eels, get a lot of eels that way. Eels are really good. Anyway, that's it for now. Alright, well, take care, and as always, I'll see you next time.